What's up, podcaster? On this episode, we are going to be talking about Goldilocks packages, what they are, how to use them. So think about it. Should you be using the Goldilocks package? Let's dive in.
Most hosts never achieve the results they hoped for. They're falling short on listenership and monetization, meaning their message isn't being heard and their show ends up costing them money. This podcast was created to help you grow your listenership and make money while you're at it. Get ready to take notes. Here's your host, Adam Adams.
So like I said a second ago, we are talking about Goldilocks packages. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what is it and then how it's used, and then we can determine if it's right for you. So what is a Goldilocks package? It is when you have 3 packages and you want somebody to pick the middle. So let's think of 2 ways to use this. One way could be on your website for your offerings. And another way could be for your podcast as for sponsorship sheets. So I'm going to start with a sponsorship sheet. There's 3 packages. Remember when you listen to the story, maybe you were sitting in kindergarten or something and your teacher read it to you, Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. Maybe you watched a cartoon of it. Well, Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, where this girl goes into a cabin where 3 bears own it, but they are out doing something. And she sees 3 different bowls. The big one is too hot. The little one is too cold. And the middle one is just right. And she's tired. She wants to take a nap. The big bed is too soft. The little bed is too firm. And the middle bed is just right. That's what we are talking about for Goldilocks packages. If you're using this for a sponsorship sheet, it could look like this. You could give a potential sponsor 3 options. And by the way, I always recommend having the highest option first. That's called price anchoring. So the most costly option is the first option. So then you're hoping that they say, that one seems a little out of my budget. And then they go down to the other 2 and they see the smallest one, the smallest package, and they say, that doesn't quite give me enough of what I'm looking for. And then they look at the middle package and they say, you know what, that one's just right. Because you did a good job with price anchoring and because you did a good job with making the smallest offer not offer quite enough, that middle offer seems really appealing. Now, if all you had was just the middle offer, you might have more people thinking that the middle offer is the expensive one. They might look at it and say, this seems a little pricey. I'm not sure if we want to do it. So having that top tier, we'll call it a title sponsor, the title sponsor of my whole podcast. They sponsor everything. Maybe I give them social media shout outs. Maybe I do other things with them. Maybe they are allowed a booth at my event if I host an event. There's all of these offerings, but maybe let's just say it's $10,000. Let's just say it's $10,000 per month. And a 6 to 12 month contract. You could do a 6-month contract or a 12-month contract. Well, that gives them an option, but they might look at it and say, well, that's out of our budget. We don't have $10,000 a month. We're a smaller company. We're a growing company, or we just committed some of that money to another place. And they might look at the bottom package and they might say, you know, they're not even reading ads for this. They're only putting our name in the show notes. Or they are reading the ads, but it's only 15-second ads, and we've already got a pre-recorded 30-second ad. So the top ad might say you get 2 ads per top package. The title sponsor might say there's 2 ads per episode. There is a 30-second ad, and then there is a 10-second ad. Or let's just say a 45 and a 15, okay? 45 and 15. Then the middle only offers 1 30-minute episode, 30-second. Why am I getting lost in my train of thought? Only has a 30-second advertisement in the podcast once. And the bottom tier, the basic, the low tier, the starter package, it has 1, 10, or 15-second advertisement per podcast. And it doesn't come with much else. The middle one comes with that and a bunch of other cool things. And the top one comes with all of those cool things, but just slightly more, slightly better. And then plus 2 random bonuses, 1 or 2 random bonuses that, like, for example, having a booth at your event or something like that, where not everybody's going to use that. Not everybody needs that, but some people will. Now, here's the psychology behind it. For the most part, I've noticed with my company and my podcast that most people do pick the middle package if you structure it right. So I'm going to teach you how to structure it right. Most people do pick the big package. Here are the things to think about. You want the top package to be probably more than double or almost double the price of the middle package. So it seems really tough to get because it's just twice as much money. One might be $5,300, the other might be $9,600. So just less than twice the price, but not offering a whole bunch more services. It's pretty similar, but one of them is like half the price. The next thing is that the basic package almost offers nothing, but is similar to the price of the middle package. So for example, it might be $3,700 a month or $5,300 a month. 37, 53, it's about 4,000 to 5,000. It's slightly below 4 and it's slightly above 5. It's not double the price. It's only like 30% more or so. I'm not doing the math on a calculator, but I'm kind of doing quick math in my head. It's like around 30% more, and that's it. And you get more than double the stuff. So think about it like that. The reason this even came up is because my company, we offer different packages for people. We offer a branding package where we just do your website, all your artwork, all your promotion materials, the backgrounds for social media like Instagram, LinkedIn, stuff like that. So you can have a picture that promotes your podcast there as well. And we do all of the templates for the promotional materials that comes out when an episode comes out. So we create all this stuff. We do your voiceover artist, like hire them, make sure you have original theme music. So that's our branding package, right? One that's really expensive and there's a lower one. We have a couple of other things. We do a 3 different tiers package for consulting. So we got a one-time call. We've got a 3-month, what do they even call that? I'm blanking on the name of it. It's a retainer, a 3-month retainer. So for 3 months, we work with you and you can call us when you need us up to 6 times. So even every other week or 6 times in the first month or whatever you need. And then we got a top tier, which is a whole year. It's 12-month retainer, 15 calls. And as I'm recording, it's listed for 10,000. So this kind of gives you an idea of, hey, that middle package is pretty good. We do this with different things, but one of the changes that we're making to our website today is we've been losing money. We've been losing money on one of our packages. It is our marketing package. And it's just marketing costs have been going up and up and up. Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads have been going up and up and up. So we're not able to get the same result. My team it costs a lot of money when it's labor and you got somebody doing private messages for somebody to market their podcast and grow their podcast. Whereas our prices were kind of high. They were around $4,000 or $5,000 for the platinum, and they were around $2,000 to $3,000 for the gold. And we've been losing money. So I went and thought about the Goldilocks packages. So what I did is we had to raise the gold from a $3,000 thing to $4,000. So we had to add about $1,000 onto that. We had to go to the platinum. We had to change that up by more than 1,000 as well. So it's in the mid 4s to now mid 5s, mid 4,000s to now mid 5,000s. And then what we did is we added a pro package, and we spent a few hours yesterday just trying to figure out what would the pro package look like. What would a new package that was a top tier look like? And we did the same thing. We made that about 10 grand a month, and it only offers a little bit more. And here's the next part that there's takeaways for you on this episode is 10% of your people, write this down. I mean, literally write this down or commit it to your memory. 10% of people always pick the top package because they're worth it. They want to prove that they have the money is one reason. They want the best for themselves, not because of flashy or showy, but they want the best. They want the top stuff. 10% of your people are always going to pick the top one no matter what. And so we added a 10-ish thousand. I think it's like 9,600 or something like that. We added one that's just around $10,000 a month for a 15-month contract. And part of it is for, remember what we called price anchoring. Part of it is, wow, 10 grand a month. I'm not sure if I have a 10 grand a month budget. And then they can look at the other two and see that one is around 4 and the other one is around mid 5s. So around 4, mid 5s. All right, what's the difference in these? And they see there's not a big difference between the top and the middle, but there is a big difference in price. It's almost double. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick the middle. And so that's going to hopefully, I mean, we'll see, because this has worked for my other companies and for this company for other reasons, for other packages. So we've decided to go ahead and add this package, and I can let you know how it goes. Basically, we've got the price anchoring, we've got the 3 different prices, and we want everybody to pick the middle package, what has been our platinum. But of course, we were losing a little bit of money on the platinum prior to this, actually for the last 8 months straight, which is a long time. For the last 8 months straight, our marketing packages were costing the client about what it costs us. I've been basically breaking even, doing crap ton of work and breaking even. So we had to add a little bit of profit margin. We had to add a little bit of profit margin into there. And so we did that by increasing the price by about $1,000 on the lowest and the middle. It was the lowest and the highest because there was 2. And now we've got the 3. So we added a little bit of cost. We add a little bit of investment onto those 2 packages, but also we have that 3rd tier that I think is still more than worth it. And we're probably going to still have 10% of the people that come to us and want us to grow their show, get in front of more people. 10% of them are always going to pick that top package. Remember that. That's something I asked you to write down. 10% of the people have always picked the smallest package because they want a good deal. They're on a budget. They want to work with us. They want our help, but they've decided, hey, we're just dabbling. We don't need the top thing. We don't need the middle thing. I'm just going to see what this one's like. So there's a lot of psychology. 10% pick the smallest, 10% pick the biggest, and about 80% of your people that come to you, especially if you do this right, the Goldilocks way, 80% of them are going to pick that middle package. And so this is going to allow us to have 80-ish% of the people coming to start picking the platinum package, which used to be our top package. And we've added about $1,000 to it. Now, I want to end this episode with a tiny bit more psychology. So you can be thinking about how to price. Here's a couple things. Now, I used to have on my packages, I used to have it where it was written in at the absolute lowest that we could do. And obviously, I didn't change the prices fast enough. And so the lowest we could do went from making a small profit margin to, in some cases, losing money each month on some clients that we were working with. I put the prices in as, for example, $4,053 or $2,550 or $5,127 or $4,772. What does that do? Why are these numbers sounding a little random? Well, there's a couple things that happen. If you have a completely round number like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, the person who's paying for that package never knows like what is your real cost. They never understand what is the real cost. They think that you've just inflated it. You went and found, you've rounded up to something more than you need, and they don't feel like they're getting a good deal. And so something you can do in your packaging is make sure that you're giving the real like lowest price. Or in some cases, for example, if you're like, I want to charge $5,000 for that. Well, you might charge $5,000 and like $53, 5,000, 5053. So it's basically still $5,000, but it's like $53. And some people are going to look at that and wonder, what is the 53? They're like, why is it a random number? And a lot of the times, psychologically, that user, that person who's looking at your website is going to think, hey, I think they've lowered that as much as they could, instead of, hey, I think they rounded it up to 5,000. I think they could have gotten 3,700, but they just rounded it up to 5,000. But if you put it in as 5,053, most people don't think that. They think Okay, so it's about 5,000 and it looks like they got it as low as they could. So that's a piece of psychology. What was the first one? Randomized numbers, not ending in a 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, not ending in all zeros. That's the first idea. Second idea is to end in an odd number when you want it to seem like a small number, and in an even number when you want it to seem like a high number. And so the way we do this, for example, is I actually just did our packages for our marketing, where we do Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads. We grow your audience. And on the top package, I made it 9,600. I know it still ends in zeros, but it's an even number. It's an even number, 9,600. It sounds a little bit bigger than 9,700 or 9,500. It just sounds and feels psychologically. I know this is weird, but they've done a lot of studies on it. It just sounds a little bit higher. So you get the value. So I put on my highest package. I don't want it to seem low. I want it to seem high. And so I make that an even number. And the one below it, I think, was 5,300. So still ending in zeros. I might change that at some point, but it is ending in an odd 5,300. And what that does is it makes it seem a little bit smaller. And so the delta feels a little bit bigger when the big one ends in an even number and the middle one ends in an odd number, ends with odd number. So the odd numbers come across as small and the even numbers come across as big. I don't know why. I think it's weird, but do utilize that. We do use that toward how we talk about it, how we market it, how we price things. And so just remember, let's talk about Goldilocks and how you think about it. The second thing is, let's talk about ending in randomized numbers, not in a bunch of zeros. And then the last thing is, let's talk about if you're using more even numbers or more odd numbers, because the odd seem what? Do you remember? Do they seem bigger or smaller? The odd. Smaller. They seem and feel like it's a lower price, easier to approach. With that said, I will let you go, and we will see you on the next episode, which is going to be an interview episode, and actually got something really good queued up. I know what it is, and I know you're going to like it. So don't go anywhere. I'll see you in the next episode.
This is serious. Don't go. Now that you've gotten whatever value that you feel that you got, the actionable takeaways, you need to implement the stuff that you learned. If you remember me talking about bird church once, and they learn how to fly, and then they walk home, I don't want you to walk home. I want you to fly home. So take the steps, take the actionable steps for your benefits so that you can become a better podcaster. That's the only thing that I ask of you. And I'll see you for more actionable tips on the very next episode.